No pipe here, no well, no rain forecast for days, yet water drips into a container, slow and steady, like it has been doing all night. Because it has. That is, drinking water extracted directly from the atmosphere overnight. The device producing it cost $14 to construct. This is not some revolutionary new technology. Engineers have understood this principle for over a century. Fog collectors and dew harvesters have operated in coastal villages across South America, mountain communities in North Africa, and rural regions of East Africa, places where electrical grids never arrived and groundwater disappeared long ago. The reason this knowledge never reached you is frustrating. It functions too effectively and costs too little for anyone to profit from selling it. Let me demonstrate how to construct one yourself. You already know this works. You have witnessed it your entire life without making the connection. That moisture on your cold beverage glass, that dew covering grass each morning before temperatures rise, that spiderweb accomplishing what commercial water generators attempt to replicate with compressors and fans costing thousands. The air surrounding you right now, wherever you are located, carries water, invisible, suspended, waiting to contact something cold enough to release it. There's a temperature called the dew point. When air contacts a surface at or below that temperature, water vapor has nowhere to go except out. It condenses, becomes liquid, begins dripping. What you're constructing is essentially a large surface for that transfer to occur. Substantial surface area angled into wind currents, tilted so gravity pulls droplets downward and collects them at the base. No moving components, no electricity required, no maintenance needed. Position it before sleeping, and it operates while you rest. Here's the part that strikes me every time I consider it. The atmosphere contains roughly 37 million billion gallons of fresh water at any moment. That exceeds every river on the planet combined, simply floating there. And almost nobody harvests it. That is the entire concept. Here's the components list. This is genuinely everything required. Shade cloth mesh measuring 6 by 6 feet. Available at any garden center or hardware store for approximately $5. Tighter weave performs better. You want something resembling window screen rather than volleyball netting. The mesh performs all the actual work, so do not compromise on weave quality. 4 sections of 1-inch PVC pipe for the frame. $2, possibly less, from salvage materials. Zip ties. You have some in a drawer somewhere. A plastic gutter section for the collection trough, $3 or $4 at any hardware store. Several bricks or stones to establish the correct angle. That totals $10 to $14 complete. If you already possess zip ties and bricks, you are at $8. No tools required beyond whatever cuts PVC. Hardware stores often perform that cut without charge, if you ask. The frame assembles first. 4 PVC sections into a rectangle, roughly 4 feet tall by 3 feet wide. You're not constructing furniture here. It simply needs to maintain shape and withstand wind without collapsing. Zip tie the corners if you prefer avoiding fittings. It holds fine. Now stretch mesh over the frame. Pull it tight. You want 0 sag. Zip tie it every 6 inches along every edge. Think of drum construction. You want that identical tension across the entire surface. Sagging mesh means pooling water. Pooling water means slower runoff and reduced collection. Here's the one mistake people make when first building this. They position it flat on the ground. Do not do that. Flat means water pools on top, evaporates when sun rises, and you collect almost nothing. You want 15 to 30 degree tilt, like leaning it against a wall at shallow angle. Every droplet forming on mesh rolls downhill automatically, contacts the bottom edge, and drips into the trough waiting below. Position the gutter section directly under that lower edge. Running short tubing from trough into storage container works if desired, but it is not required to observe this functioning the first night. Now placement, which matters more than most people realize. Face it into the wind, not sideways, not away from it. You want air moving through mesh, not around it. Walk around your property at dusk and feel which direction breeze originates. That is where the frame front points. Elevate it off ground level slightly. Even 1 foot makes real difference. Air closer to ground is drier and warmer than air slightly higher. Keep it away from wherever morning sun contacts first. You want dew building throughout the entire night and still sitting in that trough when you collect it. Not evaporated before you wake. Position it before sunset. Return at dawn. That is the complete routine. What happens overnight is simply physics performing as it always does. As temperature drops, air contacts mesh surface and cools with it. When it crosses the dew point, moisture has nowhere remaining to go. It condenses out, forms a droplet. That droplet finds another nearby. They merge, gain weight, and gravity handles the rest, rolling down into the trough. By morning, you have obtained something from nothing. My first night operating this, average humidity, temperatures in the mid-50s, no fog, no rain, I collected just over half a liter. That sounds modest until you consider those were completely average conditions. Nothing special about that night whatsoever. In humid climates, coastal areas, river valleys, anywhere that experiences morning fog, people extract 1 liter, 2 liters, sometimes more from a setup this size in single nights. Scale the mesh to 10 by 10 feet. Now you're discussing Serious daily water production from something constructed on a Saturday afternoon, with parts from one hardware store visit. A family of 4 requires approximately 2 liters of drinking water per person daily. Scale this correctly in the right climate, and you cover that entirely from atmosphere. No bills, no infrastructure, no permission required. Now let us discuss drinking it. Atmospheric water is actually quite clean initially. It has not contacted ground, has not flowed through soil or pipes, so it bypasses most complications with surface water. Bacteria, agricultural runoff, sediment, all avoided. But it can accumulate particulates from mesh over time or trace pollutants if you construct this in urban areas near traffic or industry. The solution requires 5 minutes and costs approximately $3. Take a plastic bottle, remove the bottom, invert it so the neck points downward. Layer materials inside from bottom to top. Cotton first, then activated charcoal from any aquarium store, then fine sand layer, then final cotton layer at top. Pour collected water through from top and let it drip out the neck into clean container below. That is your filter. It handles particulates, absorbs most chemical concerns, and adds perhaps 1 minute to your morning routine. If you want complete certainty, boil it, or add 1 drop of plain, unscented household bleach per liter. Wait 30 minutes and it matches treated tap water quality. Probably exceeds it, depending on your location. Free water from atmosphere filtered in 5 minutes for one-time cost of $14. What continues striking me about this project is how ancient this knowledge actually is. People have performed versions of this for centuries. The Incas constructed stone structures specifically designed to condense water from mountain fog. Fog nets have harvested water in the Canary Islands for generations. Bronze Age wells exist in desert regions that archaeologists now believe were actually dew collectors. Structures built not to hold water, but to produce it. Somewhere in the last century, as indoor plumbing spread and municipal water became standard, we stopped considering it. The tap functioned, so ancient knowledge quietly sat on shelves gathering dust. $14 in one afternoon, and that knowledge returns to your possession.